Hello, we're the Nostalgia Critics. We remember Doug, so you don't have to remember Doug. And we're back after a slight hiatus. A long one for us. It's been like 3 weeks. But we finished season 10 of Doug, so there you go. Aiden, what is the best episode of Doug season 10?
Number one episode for season 10 is Cool World. Cool World is a Ralph Bakshi film, so it's really weird and had a shitty ass development. There's some interesting stuff in here about the development. Doug shows off some concept art, talks about how there was way bigger plans and everything got shit on by the studios and money and stuff.
Films like Cool World show what happens when an artist's vision is bought and destroyed instead of coming to a compromise.
A little bit of a downside is that Doug has a cringy Ralph Bakshi character in there.
Oh, credit, pig! You'll never be able to stop us from filming our backseat crazy ideas!
Like he does. Who's in there the whole time being annoying and has like a lisp and then flies to heaven on wings made of himself.
Oh my god, that's the craziest, stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, man, inspire us all.
That's pretty cringe, but Cool World is interesting, so we put it on top.
Next we have Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. It's the sequel to the 90s Flintstones film. Doug dunks on Rosie O'Donnell in the video. He also calls a girl a fish.
No one has ever talked to me like that before.
They usually just say, glub, glub, you're a fish, glub, glub.
I remember it being vaguely interesting because basically he just talked about this weird 90s movie that kind of harkens back to the good stuff Doug did with, like, you know, when there's a movie that's interesting enough but easy to dunk on. So it was good material.
I guess I always figured by this point in my life I'd have somebody special.
Well, you always got me, Fred.
Thanks, Bond.
Okay, I'm trying very hard to resist the gay old-time joke, but you are making it very difficult.
And he did fine with it.
Number 3 is Aragon. You know, already we're getting into the kind of lukewarm stuff. It's kind of interesting to hear him talk about it. The skit where he thinks it's like a VHS game, like they had some of those. You know, they weren't very common, but...
There's no way this was an actual movie. Movies have something unique, a style. Even bad ones have something that's separated from the others. Trust me, this is just a generic fantasy game with a million generic fantasy cliches like a million others.
I don't know, Critic. I remember it being advertised and everything.
Okay, look, I'll put it on to show you.
That skit's not unwatchable. And a lot of Doug's skits are.
Next we have DuckTales 2017. Doug looks at the now not new, but at the time new, DuckTales TV show, cartoon. And he kind of just does a somewhat interesting retrospective on the first episode. It was kind of informative, but it was mostly just vaguely interesting. That's it.
Number 5 is Wonder Woman. Doug's a little too nice to the movie, but he points out a lot of things that would have made the movie worse if they were in it. Basically, shitting on the rest of the DCU for not being like Wonder Woman. And also Malcolm cross-dresses, which is always funny.
Seriously?
Because Malcolm's my favorite character.
Next is The Mummy. This is a crossover with James, the angry video game nerd. And they actually do some interesting stuff in this one. Unlike most crossovers with James, or crossovers in general, Doug doesn't seem to write his dialogue. It actually seems unique to the angry video game nerd. If you're a fan of him or have been, you would know he has like a yearly series of Monster Madness, which is just where he reviews monster movies. So James actually seems excited about this movie. I mean, he doesn't like it, but he actually seems excited to talk about the movie, and it feels like his own words, and it seems like he actually wrote his parts himself. So I appreciated that it actually felt like a warranted crossover, not like a highly planned crossover that goes through the Doug filter beforehand. Like it felt like James actually had input in it.
Number 7 is Super Mario Bros. The Anime. And for some reason, in the YouTube video, the was lowercase, which it shouldn't have been, but it was kind of interesting to look at. It's something that not many people know exists, and the fan dub was really bad and awkward.
This gem has been passed on by the Canopy people. It's worth fortunes.
Kind of made it funny inherently, not because of Doug, but just like some of the fan dub voices were really bad. Doug makes every obvious joke you can think of, like the princess in another castle.
But sadly, I'm in another castle.
And all that, and it's a little boomery and cringe, but whatever. Whatever.
Next is top 11 what the fuck, WTF, alternate movie endings. Doug looks at 11 alternate endings to movies, so you get to see some cool clips. It's kind of interesting. It's not a terrible video, it's not a good video, it's just kind of interesting, I suppose.
Number 9 is when should remakes not happen? Doug basically wants a remake to bring something new to the table, which is a fine opinion.
Fan 4 Stick. Doug talks about Fan 4 Stick, which is kind of an easy movie to dunk on. Everybody was dunking on Fan 4 Stick at this time, kind of. There's this part where Rob dresses up like Sam from Lord of the Rings in this really awkward, prolonged scene that is basically out of nowhere.
Naked in the dark. Ew, a dark room, just talking and talking, doing nothing but talking. With that cliche, that portal, staring at me. I can see it with my bored eyes. Then let us be rid of it once and for all. I can't carry that cliche, Mr. Critic, but I can carry you. Or, you could just finish the damn review.
Yeah, I guess that's an option.
But I suppose that was kind of funny.
I thought it was funny, even though it was cringe.
It was cringe. No, it was funny
cringe.
Funny
it wasn't
cringe.
Fortnite dancing Darth Vader cringe.
Right.
Number 11 is Clock Stoppers. This one was thankfully short, and he actually had stuff to talk about. The one thing I will count against him, he of course felt the need to add a 90s cliche counter with the little CinemaSins bell, and it was like ding ding ding, he rides a skateboard, ding, that was the 90s. It's like, yeah, we get it, but still it was only like 12 minutes, so I can kind of forgive it.
Next is Rhapsody Street Kids, Believe in Santa. This video is kind of boring, honestly. It wasn't great. There's something about seeing people roast like early CG movies that really sucks, in my opinion. Like, they're really boring to look at, so watching people's reviews on it and having to sit through 32 minutes of staring at these horrible CG puppets are easy to jab on, but boring. So it's kind of just boring. There wasn't anything like absurdly cringy, but it was fine. And he does this really interesting intro with like this puppet, like this alien puppet thing.
God, it's doubled in size! Oh my god. I thought this was gonna be a challenge.
That was actually pretty cool effects wise. And it was still kind of cringy because Doug like goes in the alien and the jokes weren't really funny surrounding it, but it was fairly well done for what it was, so yeah.
Number 13 is The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser one. It's a fine video. He's a little too hard on the CGI. He's like, this CGI looks like crap. Movie came out in 1998, Doug. We get it. Some of the CGI does legitimately look bad, but other times he's like, look at this CGI background in a movie from 1998. What a fucking moron.
Next is G.I. Joe the movie. He reviews the G.I. Joe cartoon movie from the 80s. We thought something was funny, but even when we wrote the notes immediately after the episode, we couldn't remember what. So apparently Doug got a laugh out of us. It was kind of interesting because, I guess it was interesting hearing him talk about the 80s G.I. Joe movie I didn't even realize existed, but it wasn't great.
Number 15 is a goofy movie. He likes it. It's fine.
Next is the weirdest Jack and the Beanstalk. Some weird, like, trippy, cheap, foreign cartoon from the 80s or 70s. The video is kind of interesting, I suppose. I don't really have anything else to say about it.
Number 17 is Was Family Guy Meant to Be a Kids Show? This title sucks, but he basically looks at how Family Guy basically started as some cartoon pilot that was pitched to Cartoon Network, which is interesting enough, I suppose.
Next we have Monkey Bone. The content of the review wasn't that bad, but there were these weird skits, or I guess not really weird, just kind of annoying skits where he's yelling at writers and children.
Just for that, you get the button.
I don't remember this one too well, but the movie looked kind of cool, like visually.
Number 19 is Green Lantern. Throughout this one, he has Deadpool there, but it's a Deadpool cosplayer who thinks he's cool and acts like a douche because he's dressed as Deadpool, which is kind of clever.
Dude, what are you doing?
That's my dick!
I can see that! Put it away, you friggin' psycho!
I'm Deadpool. Chimichangas.
Not that clever, but
It was kind of clever, but it was also kind of annoying to constantly see, like, everyone thinks that if you've ever been to, like, a comic book or nerd convention. Like, there's always like, 10 Deadpools dressed up, running around being like, I like chimichangas. And Doug was making all those jokes. I think he literally made the chimichanga joke, but...
Too bad.
It was still annoying when Doug did it, even if it was
Too bad. Too bad he lost that awareness for the Deadpool 2 review later.
The irony, yeah.
The irony. And also Devil Boners there.
This is what you get!
The next video was Why Do So Many Sequels Suck? Doug talks about why so many sequels suck because they pretty much just rehash the thing before but worse, which is a valid criticism. It was sort of interesting. This was kind of the end of his video essays. He didn't do a ton of like video essays in this season, which was big for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
He basically switched between like short video and long video instead, which is fine by me, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the video essays were a nice change of pace for a while, but eventually he kind of just started making up bullshit for him. I didn't really mind seeing those phased out, but that was one of them.
21 is the top 11 best movie sequels. It's a pretty generic list. He's like Aliens, Terminator 2, whatever. It's a list.
Next is Kangaroo Jack. The review wasn't too bad for Doug. But with that said, I hate looking at Kangaroo Jack. I hate that fucking movie. It's ugly. It's stupid. Fuck Kangaroo Jack. Doug kind of just roasted it. Whatever. Who cares?
23 is A Muppet Family Christmas. This one's kind of dull. He has some recurring gag about Michael Caine. He has like some thing where it's Michael Caine teaching an acting class. And Doug uses his Kermit puppet to respond to it back and forth. I don't really get it, but okay, it's whatever.
Next we have Balto. The movie looks really stupid and boring. Doug does some framing device in this where it's the alcoholic woman Tamara plays in a bunch of reviews talking to her granddaughter about the story of Nostalgia Critic reviewing Balto.
Wow, so this is where all the Nostalgia Critic episodes were filmed years ago.
You got it, bucko. They kept everything the same to preserve its history. Look at all the reviews that they did. There's Shrek, there's Schindler's List Saves Christmas, and that one. But this is what I really wanted to show you.
He made a funny Michael Vick joke.
2 bones says Steele takes him.
You're on.
Gambling dogs. This must be Michael Vick's favorite scene. Phew, I had to blow the dust off that one.
If you guys don't remember, Michael Vick ran a dog fighting ring, so pretty easy pickings, especially at this time right after it happened, but it was fine.
25 is the Nostalgia Critic Suicide Squad trailer. Doug, for some reason, released a trailer for his upcoming Suicide Squad video. I assume because it played in a theater. That part sucks. The trailer sucks, but at the end he watches and reacts to his own video and mocks reaction channels.
It's either gonna be the worst goddamn thing ever made by human beings, the greatest thing we as a species have ever put together, or it's gonna be okay. It is definitely one of those three, so it's a good thing you watched this. It's a good thing you saw my reaction to this.
That's kind of funny, but still. It was like an extra, 5 minutes of Suicide Squad episode content I had to sit through.
Next is Should Bad Singers Be Dubbed? He basically talks more about musicals. It's a lot of points that he basically says in all of his musical reviews about how, bad singers suck in musicals and they should either get real singers or get dubbed. We've heard Doug talk about this a million times more. And he treads it into a 20-minute video. So, there you go.
27 is Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties. It's boring, but it's only 15 minutes.
Yeah, that is a good theme. When he does make these shorter reviews again, they feel a little like his old reviews. Not that that's a good thing, because we shit on the older reviews too, but at least they're not 40 minutes of video like they were for a while. Anyways, Halloween 2007. Doug likes this movie, which is a bad take, but he basically says, it's not as good as the original, but it has its own valid points and should cover new ground, which it did. Okay, whatever, it's fine. It's a shitty take, but fine.
29 is Scary Godmother. It's fucking boring, but it's only 15 minutes.
This is also a horrendously ugly movie I watched as a kid.
Yeah, I remember
so I didn't
I
didn't like it because I had to see this footage again. Next is Hulk 2003. The video wasn't bad, but it was a bit long. Also, it's easy to make a clickbait thumbnail on Hulk 2003, and I know this got a lot of views, but truth be told, there's nothing to talk about in Hulk 2003. Everyone hates it, basically. There's an underground cult following now. It's easy to make fun of the comic transitions, but overall it's just really boring because there's nothing to grasp onto and make jokes about in this movie. It's just
dog balls.
Boring. Yeah, dog balls.
31 is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. This video is 45 fucking minutes. I don't know why.
It wouldn't have been a bad episode if
it's
it was
not
only
even
20 minutes.
It's not even like he fills it with skits or anything. So a lot of the ones that are way, way, way too long are all just 90% skits. This one's 45 minutes, but it's just a regular episode. He just comments on everything. He's like, Kevin McAllister stepped on a crack. That'll break his mom's back. I don't know why he dragged it out to 45 minutes.
Well, on top of that, a lot of this video is just him being like, it can't live up to the first one. This is just a rip-off from the first one. And then at the end he's like, truth be told, it's actually really good. Okay, whatever. Fuck you. Next is Norm of the North. Apparently this is one that was really hated. I think it's because he makes a joke that is offensive to transgender people.
Presumably Sherman after he got a sex change. Which, let's be honest, we all saw that coming.
Yeah, it's a really offhand comment where he's like, the girl looks like Mr. Sherman or Peabody. I don't know which one's which.
Yeah, he looks
like Mr. Sherman the dog. He's like,
Peabody.
It looks like
Peabody
after...
got a sex change is what he says.
And, as far as it goes, that's really not something I wouldn't expect Doug to say.
Right. It's kind of came close to turn off the channel. And well, it would be more expected in 2010, Doug, and no one would bat an eye at it. When something like that happens in a review in 2017, you're going to get shit for it, especially if it goes on people's radar and the hot, juicy clip hits Twitter. And then people remember it because turn off the channel happens pretty shortly after this.
Yeah, everyone was really...
I don't think turn off the channel happened during this season. I think it happens during the 11th season.
Does it? I don't know.
Because Chris Stockman was still on here.
Oh, you're
he
right.
left Channel Awesome around the time that...
Oh, that changed the channel shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess the Times just caught up with Doug.
Yeah, the Times caught up with Doug's old raunchy review style. Otherwise, it's mostly just boring.
33 is...
Oh, and Doug... Wait, it's also worth noting this is the first appearance of Bald Doug.
What the hell is that?
When did Cinema Snob become Buddhist?
Greetings, humble mortals.
Doug shaved his head because he was balding. And he ultimately decided to make a skit about it to get around that fact. And then he just left it to this very day. Because he's fucking balding and decided that it wasn't worth keeping his hair, but he needed to make a skit to make it look like he didn't shave his head. Or something, I don't know.
Yeah, Norm of the North felt like one of his old style reviews.
Mostly, yeah.
33 is Alien vs. Predator. There's nothing funny about Alien vs. Predator.
Next is Cats Don't Dance. I don't remember this review, I'm going to be fully honest with you. But it was in the old style. That's what we wrote in the notes. So, there you go.
35 is Do Credits Suck Now. He basically, even though he says do credits suck now, this is more about like the fact that movies don't have opening credits anymore. And also, who gives a fuck?
Right to both of those. Next is What Happened to Great Disney Villains. See, a lot of there are video essays in this season, but by the end, they were pretty much gone for the last half of the season. Doug says the focus shifted to the heroes instead of the villains. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty widely known. I think that was kind of part of the Disney clickbait community at this time, because I saw a similar Lindsay Ellis video on this. Yeah, okay. Disney villains have faded out more to a more abstract concepts of like friendship and stuff instead of like Captain Hook wants to murder Peter Pan. So there you go.
Number 37 is the top 11 worst movie sequels. As always, his top 11 lists have obnoxious transitions, and in this one it's like ASMR sobbing for some reason. It's a horrible transition. He also lists Troll 2. Troll 2 is not a sequel to anything. There's a movie named Troll, and this movie was made by completely unrelated people who just named it Troll 2 as like a marketing thing. So I don't know if that really counts.
Next is War of the Commercials. Pretty unremarkable. He doesn't really find any funny commercials, and much like a lot of these War for the Commercials specials, some of Doug's raunchier, pedophile-esque comments come through. Doug has this splatter gun, squirt gun thing, and he plays the commercial where it looks like ejaculate and children are spraying each other with it, and Doug makes an edit that makes it look like children are being ejaculated upon. I don't know.
And
We're gonna
plays
have
porno music.
Totally shut. Not saying anything.
You, your kids, and your Johnson.
Yeah, we're gonna probably have to beep out pretty much every word there so our channel doesn't get banned, but you get the idea.
Yeah, he does like 4 innuendo commercials in a row. He's just like this.
It's actually amazing no one flagged this video to be taken down, because that edit was pretty raunchy. That edit was pretty raunchy.
The Smurfs 2. Boring.
Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's a shitty Tom and Jerry cartoon.
We actually watched half of this movie to review.
Yeah, we were gonna review this movie, but we got like halfway through it, and we were like, no, fuck it.
It was too shitty for us to finish.
It was too shitty for us to finish. But I'd be willing to give it another chance sometime. It is $5 on Vudu right now. I could get it and force myself to watch it, but no, it's not worth it. It's just a remake of the movie with like stupid Tom and Jerry cutaways. Doug is way too nice to this movie. Like, he's like, truth be told, it's not all that bad. The thing is, the problem isn't necessarily that it's bad, because the base story is not a bad story. But you can shit on the Johnny Depp remake for being unnecessary and a much shittier version, and taking the original movie and just adding Tom and Jerry to it is just fucking lazy and fucking stupid. It's a shitty marketing ploy, and it's obviously just meant to capitalize on the nostalgia of two old franchises. It's bizarre, it does nothing new, and the things that it does that are new, which are mostly just bizarre Tom and Jerry scenes, are just shit. The animation is garbage. But Doug's like, honestly, it's not that bad. So, whatever, it sucks.
Yeah, he's like, the new tunnel scene, the Tom and Jerry tunnel scene's even creepier than the original, because he's obsessed with that. And he plays the tunnel scene like 500 times in full.
Right.
And he has a creepy face counter. He's like, look at this creepy face Jerry made. Look at this creepy murder face. It's like, oh my god, just shut the fuck up. Number 41 is Bangarang. Bangarang is a favor for Dante Bosco, because Doug's friends with him. Dante Bosco was in Hook as some kid. I haven't seen Hook.
Dante Bosco was also in the Avatar reviews a season or two ago, so now he
that's
has
how they know
show
each other.
movie.
But Dante Bosco made a short film prequel to Hook about his character on Kickstarter, and Doug shilled it for him as a favor. That's the video.
Basically it, yeah. Next is Transformers The Last Night non-review. Doug didn't watch Transformers The Last Night and guesses what happens in it and reviews it.
He's not even that close.
I mean, he wasn't that close. He just kind of says vague things that are obviously going to be in the Transformers archetype. Despite the fact that this movie kind of breaks the mold slightly. Not fully, but whatever.
I mean, it does.
It's kind of
full
dumb.
retard.
And it's like after Transformers 4, where you just shit on the movie and screamed about how you'll never watch another one of these. Didn't you prove your point? Like, I guess it's easy content, easy clickbait content, but it's lazy. It sucks. I don't like it.
Number 43 is Old vs. New, The Evil Dead. As these Old vs. New tend to do, the Old vs. New format is bad. Devil boners here. Hyper fangirls here.
In your own studio. You parent, for God's sakes, throat slitter, I'm trying to kill a guy!
Well, I've never distracted you before.
Well, we've never been in a fight before.
I hate fighting with you, Bubblegum.
I do too, Razorblade, but how we gotta settle our differences?
Doug does that old thing that he always does where he just makes categories on a whim so that he can get his desired outcome. Where the movies are tied and then he's like, but what about the tree branches? This is best tree branches. And he's like, okay, it's the old one. Like, okay.
Basically.
What's the point? And I hate Devil Boner and I hate Fangirl.
Yeah. I really hate what this series has become, and I hated the series in the first damn place. So, amazing.
First New was always bad.
Yeah. Next is The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Some jerk with a camera shows up.
Because I just collected your dumbass!
God damn it, Tony, no wonder they call you some jerk with a camera.
And I got it all on camera.
Well, great, you exploited my very specific foible.
And it was amazing. Ha!
Some sort of YouTuber. And they talk about The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Doug keeps getting tricked because people are calling him pretending to be celebrities, and Tamara laughs about it obnoxiously.
Hello?
Hello, this is Sergeant Slaughter.
Yo, Joe!
I was wondering if you wanted to team up with me and Devil Boner in the other room to travel to Africa and wrestle lions until their heads explode.
You got it, I'll be right there! God damn it, you guys! Hey, jerk with a camera!
Hey, Devil Boner, you play one on him too?
It's so easy!
I know, right? He is so stupid!
And then a real celebrity shows up. Slipknot guy, famous for his roles in Slipknot, his contribution to that collective, as well as his contributions to Doug's The Wall video.
Don't forget,
coming up soon. And he brings his cringy 12-year-old child who looks like he wears fedoras around and is like...
Who's also
wow.
in The Wall.
Hello?
Hey, it's Corey Taylor.
Corey Taylor, lead singer of Slipknot.
And Stone Sour, yeah.
And let me guess, you're in the other room with Chester A. Bum, Hyper Fangirl, Black Willy Wonka, Rob Scallon, and your son, Griff, inviting us to go on tour on an ice cream truck.
Actually, that's it exactly.
Screw you, buddy! I'm smarter than you think!
I'm proud of you, man.
Will?
He said no.
Oh, that's a shame.
At least you tried.
Oh, well. I guess we'll go on tour without him.
And Doug's like, wow, it's, you know. So basically, like, Slipknot guy's son won't shut the hell up about Nostalgia Critic to him. He's just a massive nerd. And he's like, okay, I'll just fucking talk to Nostalgia Critic and get you on the show. You know, so everyone wins. Slipknot's awkward son gets to be on the show. Slipknot guy looks like a good dad who isn't on tour cheating on his mom all day, and fucking Doug gets celebrity Slipknot guy. And I'm not really sure the fan bases overlap.
Probably not much.
That would be like me being like if our channel gets big and I use my clout, and Slipknot or fucking Smash Mouth guy's son is a big fan of NTMA Productions, so I get fucking Smash Mouth out there.
It'd be more like if it was like Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, Michael
like
Jordan.
The thing with the least amount of crossover with our audience ever.
Like, hey Michael Jordan, I don't watch sports. And he's like, okay. I don't like golf or baseball or professional fishing or tennis shoes or NBA. No, he's a professional fisherman now, dude. He just won like a big fishing contest.
Jordan and his crew reeled in that massive 442-pound blue marlin Tuesday in a big fishing tournament off the coast of North Carolina, Jordan's home state.
That's like Michael Jordan's thing now. He doesn't do like basketball related things. He just fishes with a bunch of old white guys and makes basketball shoes.
Well, that sounds
That's his living. So maybe he could come on and be like, well, I wasn't really a big fan of basketball or baseball anymore, and I was a shitty baseball player anyways. But I like fishing now. Pretty much any professional sport Michael Jordan wants to do. He's like 85 years old. I mean, shit, he did professional baseball. Who fucking knows why he would do such a thing, but he did.
Number 45 is Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Squeakquel. The movie's apparently a convoluted mess with like too many characters and subplots, and Doug wants to recreate this feeling. So he has Hobo Doug and Hobo Doug's girlfriend and the Ooh Girls, who are girls who go ooh, and the Fortnite dancing Vader from the episode 7 review, and Malcolm's an emo, and there's the Ah Girls who go ah, and every other Doug character, and they're all running around his filming space screaming the entire video, and it's a horrible nightmare that hurts my brain.
Yo!
The Dog Girls are suddenly in love with you!
Why are they in love with me?
You met in school.
Oh, now I know everything.
All girls.
What?
You had to score the winning touchdown at a football game.
Which one?
Anyone. Chester, go! I need you to hate each other while also preparing for a dance competition.
What?
True, it's going against what you originally were, but that doesn't matter when money's involved. Go! Baby, you are so pretty and smart!
And you are the handsomest man in the world!
Why did that insult?
I usually say in the universe.
Malcolm, you need to be angry now. Get revenge on somebody.
Who?
I don't care, anybody!
Neil Patrick Harris.
Hey, we love Neil Patrick Harris!
I'm the queen of everything else! Critic, what should I do with this ball from the team, the 49ERS?
Hey, look at that! You need to settle your differences in a dance-off!
All right, river dance.
Oh, did you say a dance-off? No, we're onto something different! Oh, but we got a perfect dance instructor! No, you need to now be injured and out of half of the movie! movie.
I think we'd be better at that.
You're in charge of finding a cat to almost never talk about.
I had a cat once. It was 10 years ago.
That's way too much attention. More vague, more vague!
I find your lack of vague disturbing.
Somebody call 911!
Okay, I think we're good. We have about 5 to 10 cliche plots to confuse people into thinking we know what we're doing.
And I don't know if he talks about the movie because all I can remember is searing pain in my head from the skit.
Yeah. Next is It. The framing device of this one is an IT nerd. Get it like It. It, the Stephen Curry version, and the new It. Sit around a poker table roasting the It movie.
I almost got it. I feel like I really shouldn't be here. You see, where I come from is pronounced IT crowd as opposed to it crowd.
Now shut up, boss, and tell us which It is better.
And they do the meme dance. And they talk about it and reenact it really badly. And it sucks and I don't care. It's a pretty bad reenactment. It's not his worst reenactment. That still goes to probably his last Halloween episode, Hocus Pocus. Which still, I think, may maintain the spot for the worst Doug episode. Although there are some doozies in this one. But yeah, it was pretty shitty. It was pretty bad. I don't know. I don't really have much to say. He does the dance. He does the dance as him and playing both It's as well as the IT guy. They do the It meme thing, and
yeah.
Doug hops on the trend.
Number 47 is Star Wars The Last Jedi. Doug fences too hard.
Doug straddles the fence like a horse. He's got the fucking...
They do nitpick the movie, but they're still too nice on it, and then at the end they're like, well, there was problems, but it was still good, and it's Star Wars, so we liked it.
I mean, they pretty much go out of their way to be like, the movie was good. It was like good because of mythology or something.
Yeah.
And religion. It takes from all the religions and all the mythologies, and it's a genius movie.
Steals
But then
from
everything else is a piece of shit.
For some reason, Doug's like, it takes a bunch from anime, and that
Well,
makes
no,
it
he's
good.
like, it takes from anime and every religion that's ever been made to make the perfect mythology. And I'm like, Doug, what the fuck are you talking
and they're
about?
like hand-waving all the issues.
You even talk about how this entire movie, from a structure standpoint, is awful because they just sit on a spaceship. A fourth of the movie is taken up by stupid horse scenes. He's like, Finn and Rose's plot are completely pointless. The spaceship stuff's stupid and makes no fucking sense. He talks about the Rey and Luke Skywalker stuff for 2 seconds.
Yeah, he pretty much doesn't mention Rey in this video.
He barely mentions that. He just shits on every aspect of this movie, and then at the end they say, "Oh, it's actually good."
Just in case people got mad, because they filmed this the day after, so they didn't know if people were gonna like it or not.
Right. So
they didn't have the context, so they had to sit on the fence in case.
Right. So if you sit on the fence, then you can kind of like twist the narrative how you need, which is what I think happened in this video. So
also they brought up that fucking terrible excuse where they're like, "Well, Luke did the Force projection thing because in episode 6 oh yeah, it was Chris. He's like, well, in episode 6 they started shooting lightning. Nobody complained about that. It's kind of a different thing, bro. It's a little different.
It's a little. I mean, I'm not saying you can't add to the mythology, but the whole thing was dumb. And then they're like, well, how do you explain the fact that he gave Hans dice? And they're like, well, hand waved it. Like, did he teleport the dice or what? Yeah, basically, fuck you. Next is this the best Joker death?
Ugh.
Doug fills a 10-minute video with the death of the Joker from Batman Beyond and breaks it down moment by moment, making wild assumptions about Batman's lore and doesn't understand the scene at all. He just kind of dick sucks this scene. And it's really fucking annoying, and he just breaks it down, and he's like, I see people making things on one scene all the time. Like, I mean, first off, this is a good scene, but does it need a 10-minute video?
Do you have to stop and commentate every single sentence? Batman's like, you're the Joker, and he's like, he said that because he saw the Joker. It's like, okay, thank you, Doug. Thank you.
Right. There's a lot of shitty stuff. This video sucked. Whatever.
Number 49 is Suicide Squad, which has quite the reenactment. The reenactment episodes are usually kind of a treat. This one does not disappoint with the cringe. Doug, I don't know. I'll just throw some clips of the reenactment in. It's pretty much what you'd expect at this point. We've been through so many reenactment episodes.
It also turns out he has a daughter who knows how to play peacekeeper when he pisses off the wrong people.
It's over, Deadpool.
Deadshot!
Oh, well, this movie got a lot less cool. Oh, please.
No! Killing him won't solve anything. It'll just turn you into a cold-hearted monster that any decent human being would immediately lose affection for.
Yeah, well, that's never stopped me before. Now move out of the way, kid. I'm gonna shoot your daddy.
I was talking to him, not you.
Oh, sorry. Usually when people are angry about a costume man killing people, it's about me.
You win, kid.
Oh, but I wanted to kill him. I'm Batman.
The big problem with the reenactment episodes, that's especially prevalent in this one, is he reenacts the movie, doesn't commentate on it at all, doesn't give his opinion, then at the end he's like, I thought Suicide Squad was kind of cool. It's like, okay, thank you. Thank you for wasting my time.
Alright, thanks. That was only 45 minutes. I'm never going to get back. Next we have Dragon Ball Evolution. Little Karibo and Team 4-Star team up on this one. And they basically fuck around like idiots.
Dragon Ball fans will understand this outrage.
What do you know about Dragon Ball that I don't?
Plenty. Like how he cut to the extreme wide shots to save on lip animation. And your anger over this will be represented by zoom out combined with grunting and clenching your teeth with your eye twitching.
Grunt! Grunt!
Now I will fight you by doing the same move repeatedly and you doing the same dodge repeatedly.
You fools are missing the real enemy!
Little Karibo comes to talk sense into the feuding heroes.
So, Little Karibo, you've come to talk sense to us, the feuding heroes.
Am I just not here, or...?
Get out of here, Yuki Blow! You're not even from the right anime!
Maybe, but I'm smart enough to know that while you two are bitching like pansies, your opponent is building his power.
My god! He's going stupid Saiyan!
It's okay. This usually lasts 10 minutes. There's surprisingly little fighting in the show. It's mostly us screaming while Rux rides.
They're doing dumbass skits the whole time where he's trying to reenact the Dragon Ball anime and being like, that was a better movie than this movie. And then they talk about Dragon Ball Evolution, which is a terrible movie, and he's just like, it's terrible. But Doug clearly doesn't know anything about Dragon Ball. I mean, I can't talk because I don't know anything about Dragon Ball.
Doug's just like clearly confused and going along with what the other two say, and the other two are just like annoying British guys, and they're like,
Oh, he's turned into 3D pipes!
Actually, can we just watch that? They are more convincing.
I truly believe that they're pipes.
farting in the camera. They're, you know...
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Fucking British humor where...
They're like, we rip that, eh?
Wibbly wobbly boobly doobly, and they fart and then like fall on their face, and that's British humor basically. And so it's two annoying British guys screaming while Doug screams and Doug doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And there's the fucking opening skit. It's just awful. That opening skit is bad. Number 51 is Was the Killing Joke That Bad? Where he defends the animated Killing Joke movie that sucks ass. He doesn't realize how badly the art is fucked up. He doesn't get the point of the original comic. For some reason, he's like, I think it's really cool that they made Batman and Batgirl have sex and gave her a gay stereotype friend for some reason. Wasted 40 minutes of my life.
Well, half this fucking video, he's just like, well, truth be told, it doesn't really make sense to add it onto the Killing Joke, but it's not that bad. And it's like all all it is they try to make it 75 minutes. This comic is like
filler.
A Killing Joke is essentially just a long issue of a comic, but definitely not enough to fill a movie. So they add all this filler that doesn't stand up to par with Alan Moore's writing, and they decided that somehow they had to do something to stay rated R, so they're like, or like to like keep up with the rated R-ness. The thing is, Killing Joke isn't good because it's edgy. Like, yeah, Barbara Gordon's crippled and Joker's pretty dark, and the ending's really dark. But the story team sat there and said, well, this isn't enough to make a movie. So they said, okay, so we'll just add 25 minutes at the start where Batgirl drives around and fights bad guys and it's boring, and then has sex with Batman because that would be
edgy,
cool, I guess, or it would be rated R and very raunchy of us, and that'll keep up with Alan Moore's writing. Which, no, it doesn't. It was fucking stupid. And the Batgirl sex thing, it really isn't set up in the comics or in the movie at all. It just kind of happens because they wanted
Something
to, I guess. They thought it would be a good idea. They don't understand the character. It's kind of weird too, because I know Barbara Gordon has her father, unlike most of the Bat family children, which are like Bruce's adopted kids. It's not really the case, but it's definitely like a surrogate father figure. So it's kind of weird. It made fans uncomfortable, and then DC was like, well, you just don't get it. It's like, no, you're just retarded.
The movie looks
Doug
like
is like, it's not that
shit
bad.
too. And he's like,
mind.
I thought the art was really cool and great.
Yeah,
No, it
he's like, it
fucking
actually
terrible.
is better in the visual medium. It's like, this is like
Plus half the
really
goddamn movie
good
is just like
comic
still
art.
images. Half the movie's just like the Joker's face and it just pans over it. It's like, okay.
Right, it's like they want to recreate these comic panels, so they have to awkwardly do it in movies. The thing is, like, if you made Citizen Kane into a comic book, it would ruin the timing, it would ruin everything. Good comic book writers, and the reason DC's animated movies never work is because if you're trying to adapt something that was made for a different medium verbatim, especially if someone's like the master of that medium, like Alan Moore is a very impressive artist, and I think it was Brian Azzerello made the art for this. I don't remember, but you know, you have two masters of your field making one of the most iconic comics ever, one that, you know, even Brian Azzarello was changing later because he was a perfectionist on it. And then you basically just make it with cheap, shitty animation for $1 million and make it shitty.
Ship it out to some Korean studio.
Ship it out to some Korean studio. It's colored like shit. It looks like ass. There's no visual style because it's all digital and cheap and 3D animated with the Batmobiles and shit so they can save money. It's not going to hold a finger to it. Doug's just like, I think it's better. I think it's actually better. I think this adds a lot.
I don't think he says it's better, but he does.
He does. He implies like certain things are better.
Okay.
Where he's like, this scene looks okay in the comics, but in the movies it moves and I don't have to read. And it's like, all right, Doug, you're literally challenged. like, it's like, okay, I'll put it this way too. You know, Harry Potter fans don't like the movies as much as the book. Because that was made as a book and not a movie. You know, if I made Citizen Kane into a comic book, it would probably be a boring piece of shit that misses a lot of the visual storytelling in that movie because it's a different medium. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And Doug just acts like an ignorant idiot who doesn't know about that. And in this insulting movie, he basically just says it's good as like a hot take, or because he doesn't get it. I don't really know. It's
See,
just
this is why we put
bad.
this one last.
Yeah, I was pretty infuriated. I like The Killing Joke. It's a good fucking comic, and I watched The Killing Joke movie and was like, what the fuck is this? I thought it sucked. And
I thought it sucked.
I think it would have sucked even if you cut out the first 25 minutes, which is clearly written by a different person, and is not at all... doesn't at all add to the story or do anything interesting.
It doesn't even fit.
No, it doesn't at all.
It has no purpose. Doesn't
Dude,
add anything.
I feel so bad for Alan Moore because I remember, like, even before DC pissed all over all of his source material, He's like, this is like pretty shortly after he realized he was never getting Watchmen back because DC was just going to constantly reprint it. He's like, yeah, I bet you in like 10 years they're just going to start whipping out sequels and making crappy movies of all my work. That would really suck. And then everyone's like, he's a fucking asshole for saying that. Like, we want sequels to Watchmen. Those always are going to turn out well. And we want to see an animated version of The Killing Joke. That would work out perfectly. And we want Zack Snyder's Watchmen movie. It sounds like a really good idea to just wash out all the colors and remake his work verbatim. Also, like, don't give filmmakers who don't understand his work, which, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to understand Alan Moore's work, but don't give filmmakers who clearly don't understand his work or have any admiration or respect for it the work to do it. And, you know, if you actually cared about basically one of the magnum opuses of the industry you apparently care about, since you're a leader in it, DC, maybe don't just ship off the fucking thing to be made in Korea to make a quick buck, but, you know, they got to do a limited release of it, so people actually got to pay $15 to see an animated movie that costed $20,000 to make in Korea.
Yeah.
On the big screen.
Isn't
So
Alan
good
Moore
for
like
them.
a crazy hobo in a fucking
He's big.
shack in the woods now or something? That's
He's
what I've
a
heard.
crazy old British man.
I remember seeing something on 4chan about him once, and people like talking about how he just like lives in the woods now, and like.
I don't know a ton about his personal life, but it wouldn't shock me. I know that he was pretty reclusive. He doesn't do like interviews or comics anymore.
Yeah.
And I also like how even when he worked in comics, he just thought, you know, it was a medium you could do a lot of good things in, but ironically it's just basically done like consumerist shit with very few people that are good at it. The irony at how true this is. Yeah, I miss comics being good, but it's
Very much so.
been a long time.
Anyway, how do you generally feel about this season?
I feel pretty on it. It's another pretty season like the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, the Killing Joke video just pissed me off because Doug just came off as incredibly ignorant. I think it's a similar problem with like the Dragon Ball video. I guess in the Dragon Ball video you also have fucking Little Karibo and Team 4 Star acting cringy. The Star Wars video, it was cringe that he rode the fence, but there was no like hocus pocus level.
Little Karibo and Team 4 Star were cringe, but they knew what they were talking about. Doug was ignorant and cringe.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, yeah, you look at things like the Star Wars The Last Jedi review where they just call it shit and then are too scared to actually just say it's a terrible movie. Or they just liked it because it was Star Wars and didn't understand why, so they just made up bullshit about the mythology making it good.
Yeah.
And this isn't to say you can't like The Last Jedi. I think it's a massive piece of shit, but this isn't necessarily saying you can't like The Last Jedi. That's not the argument I'm making here. What I'm saying is, if you're going to shit on a movie for 30 minutes, maybe try to actually come up with a reason other than they draw from anime and mythology and religion. Okay, examples?
That anime thing.
How? Well, it drew from anime and religion, dude. You know, name a religion that, you know, that you don't remember the part of the Bible where Jesus Christ fought his nephew who he tried to murder in cold blood as a Naruto force projection?
Well, Rey crossed her fingers and meditated like a monk.
Buddhist? Oh, Hinduism.
For a second.
Hinduism.
There
right.
was...
but I don't think any of these ideas are even wholly original to this film. I would say that this film was done really badly, and if the things you like are like its nods to Hinduism and such and the like, you could pretty much look at the other 8 Star Wars movies made before this and find similar things.
Yeah, I mean,
and they shit on Rogue One, but they and I also am not defending Rogue One because I think that movie is terrible as well. Not Last Jedi bad, but really bad still. It's just very confusing what Doug was thinking this season. A lot of the times, it's bafflingly stupid choices that are his downfall, not really, and just ignorance because he's trying to make weekly videos. I think he's running back. Like with the video essays, he basically would get out his ignorant retardation out quickly. And his skit videos often just turned out bad because Doug and Rob aren't incredibly competent writers. Which, you know, fair enough. But it didn't lead to the utter ignorance that this does, where he doesn't seem to be able to form arguments quick enough while he's making weekly videos on movies, so a lot of the times it just comes out as half-baked, jumbled messes. He has an idea and he has to go with it because he doesn't have enough time to correct himself.
Yep.
And while that happened all the time with his video essays, usually the video essays were just like, oh, that was a really dumb point he stretched out for 10 minutes. And then that was that. But in this, he just makes wholly terrible, underinformed things. And it feels a lot more view-hungry than previous seasons, maybe. Like, he's trying to do a lot more clickbait. I don't know. So what did you think of Doug 10?
I don't think it's as bad as the last couple. I mean, we're quickly approaching the cringe barrier. The fucking reenactments get worse and worse. And he did have some very, very bad takes this season. Although those top couple things that we talked about, I'd say he had some mildly interesting video ideas. The Cool World one had some mildly interesting things. The DuckTales 2017, whatever else. There's a couple interesting things in there. Overall, it's another pretty meh season, but it's not like, it's not at the horrific cringe yet. That's next season and beyond, I think.
Oh, wait, we almost forgot to mention, he was sponsored by something called Starlight or something?
Yeah, the Starlight app?
The Starlight app, which is kind of like, it's like Letterboxd, but instead of writing your reviews, you make a 10-second Snapchat story about the movie you watched.
Yeah.
And then you give it a star rating. And Doug put a bunch of these awkward, kept shilling it, and then was like, I'll pick the best ones next week. And it was just a bunch of like horribly awkward neck beards and talking about movies.
Basically, it was he was paid to shill it. It's not like he incorporated it into the video. It'd just be like, he'd be like, watch the movie I'm watching this week on the Starlight app, and then talk about it.
And then I think he would pick two at random.
Right before the trailer, right before the designated ad break, he'd be like, and now for the best 2 videos from our sponsor this week.
Like the Star Wars one he played
Starlight.
He would
Yeah, he did play a lot from the last
I think what he would do is he'd kind of just like, he said, I'll pick the best 2 next week. And then what he'd do is he'd take like 5 minutes while he was editing it until he found 2 that he was moderately amused by. Because he'd be like, this is my cat and he likes Star Wars. And Doug would be like, okay, good enough.
That's pretty much
or he got like 10 submissions each episode. I don't know which it is, but it's one or the other.
My idea, I'm guessing what happened, is like the first episode he did it in was the Rap City Street Kids, and he's like, watch the movie and tell me what you thought after. And there's probably like 6 people willing to watch the fucking movie.
Right, well the app has under 50,000 downloads to this day almost.
Because on the Star Wars, on the Star Wars one, he had like a dozen of them that he played in a row. Because people actually saw that. And so I just don't think anyone was motivated to go out and watch something they weren't already going to watch for Doug. That's my theory. So he just had to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
They just had to scrape up whatever you possibly could.
Sometimes he was even doing double shills. I've never seen a YouTuber do a double shill
because I did it a couple times. He did the Starlight app and Honey in one.
Yeah.
And then he did Starlight and
Skillshare.
Skillshare. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of those ad places have like, or most of those companies have like contracts against not doing double ads.
Because if not, you'd look at channels like Pyrocynical who are just doing like 2,000 mid-roll ads for a 10-minute video and 2 sponsored ads, or doing like a 20-minute sponsored ad.
Yeah.
Like if that was the thing that people could still do, I'm sure every YouTube video would just be some guy reading off sponsors for 10 minutes with mid-rolls. And then saying, anyways, this is cringe. Look at this Karen. She's so cringe. And then ending the video. I mean, that's pretty much what they are now. And just be more sponsored breaks in the middle. It'd be a longer video because they had 20 honey ads and 40 Starlight ads or whatever. But yeah, no, Doug did some double shills.
Impressive work, Doug.
I don't know. Yeah, must not be allowed anymore because Doug doesn't do that anymore. But as far as I know, maybe he still does. Maybe he's the one YouTuber shameless enough to get away with the double ads. Also, Doug, it was kind of annoying because Doug would like line it up to an annoying extent where it'd be like the ads. He'd put his mid-rolled ads in now, which YouTube just started doing that thing where like if you get a mid-roll, not only is there 20 mid-rolls a video, but it's two ads now.
It's always 2 ads, and the first one's unskippable like half the time.
Unskippable 30-second ad, and then a 5-second skippable. And then you do that, and then Doug would be like, now let's talk about Starlight or whatever.
And then he's like, and now here's the best 4 clips from Starlight. And then he's like, but also let's talk about Honey.
Have you heard of Honey, the best user installed browser extension ever? And it's like, Doug, shut the fuck up, dude. I don't care. But that's what the skip's for. We did skip the ads. I don't know, is that breaking the rules that we skip the ads? We skip the credits and this charity shill at the end of each episode because I don't care. I'm not donating to charity. Those are old episodes, dude. Doug's not doing his campaign for him anymore, so I don't care about the children's hospital anymore. What do you mean you want to cure lupus? I don't care about people with lupus.
I don't have lupus. Why should I care?
I don't have lupus. Why should I care? Dude, just wait till I get whatever lupus is. Like a video, I'm like, check out lupus and donate now.
Donate to the Lupus Foundation.
Donate to the Lupus Foundation because we need to find a cure before I croak out on this. I'm done.
I got weeks to live. You better start donating, bros.
Dude, donate. Otherwise, I'm about to be fucking dead off some lupus. Hopefully no one whose family members died. Is lupus a real disease? I'm pretty sure it is.